Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, Erev Shabbos Kodesh. Here live from Beit Shemesh. It is 1,000,000 degrees here, and Baruch Hashem, Parshas eikev. So you gotta really kind of try to again find this very similar situation next week. Tochacha, we're in a month before the Patir of Moshe Rabbeinu. And it's a lot of tochacha, a lot of musar the past 40 years, what the Jews did, what they didn't do, what Hashem did for them, Hashem didn't do for them. So we have one of the most famous lines in the parasha, maybe, I don't know, one of the most famous ones of the whole Torah, is B'at Yisrael, Ma Hashem Shol Mimemcha. What Hashem want from you, Kim Lira as Lakim. Kim Lira, just Yira. So Gemara talks about, Kim Lira, such a small thing. It's such a small thing. It's actually the biggest thing, biggest challenge we all have. So the Gemara says, calm down. It's for Moshe, who was small. So, okay, and we move on. Well, first question is, as my friend Sammy pointed out, that it's not just one thing in that pasuk. It's actually 4 different things. Loving Hashem, doing the mitzvahs, lech drachav. So it's not really one thing Hashem wants. It's actually 4 things. But the question, I believe, that the Gemara is asking is, ki im liyira. It makes it sound like everything else is a good amount of X, Y, and Z, but ki im liyira, just a little bit of that. Like that's either the smallest thing, or the most insignificant thing, or it's the easiest thing. But yeah, the pasuk has a few different things that Hashem is asking really, but the Gemara picks up on the point of ki im liyira. And the question that the Sivur Shalom has, which is interesting that he kind of, points this out, but doesn't kind of reference the other situations, is how it's relevant for the Jewish people. Because almost every week, the Sivur Shalom asks, that's great for Moshe and the generation, how is this helping us? Max a shekel, that's fantastic, but why are we coming to shul to hear half a shekel? We don't do that anymore. Shabbos Zachar, that's great. If there's Amalek around, why are we going to shul? So the Sivur Shalom, one of the famous questions is, what does it do for now? Why is in the Torah if it's only for that generation? And the answer inevitably is, it applies to everybody forever. Okay, but here's a little different, because Moshe, it's great by Moshe, not only does it not apply for us, but not even for the people that Moshe was with. So we're left with the question is, why is Moshe saying this at all? If it's only a Moshe situation, it's small for Moshe, so don't say it. So doesn't apply for the people of his generation or our generation. Shkayach, it's great, that's easy for you, Moshe, so why mention this? Why talk about this at all? So the Sivur Shalom has an interesting point, is that the Gemara is very careful what says, Legabe Moshe, it was a small thing, Legabe Moshe. Doesn't mean really for Moshe, it means the ones with Moshe. The ones with Moshe. For them, it was a small thing. And the Sivur Shalom says, this generation, we have to understand, is a lot different than our generation. Their generation saw the Shekhinah. Their generation saw Chris Yamsuf. They saw Amalek. They saw great miracles, the man every day. They saw the water. These great miracles. So it's not just Moshe, but Legabe Moshe, the ones that were with Moshe, because Moshe was obviously close to Hashem, spoke to Hashem. But there's another lesson that Sivur Shalom brings that Legabe Moshe. We know that Moshe was the greatest Anav Mikol Adam, fancy Baloscha, Moshe Anav Kol Adam. So he had a checklist of things, Moshe Rabbeinu. He said, he saved the people of Mitzrayim. Okay, he did miracles by Paro, and he spoke to Hashem. He crossed the Yam Suf for the people. He helped people for 40 years, and he was a great Anav. 6 things, fantastic. He damas for them. 7th thing, he saved from being destroyed by Egel. 8, whatever, bunch of things. So we had thought, okay, which is greater, which is worse? Obviously talking to Hashem, that's the greatest thing. Saving the people, maybe that was 2nd. People being destroyed by Egel, he saves them. Amalek, maybe that's number 3. And on the list, great Anav, fantastic. The Sivur Shalom says, no. The Sivur Shalom says, it's the Anav the anav part that caused the other things to fall into place. It's mikol hus adam kol adam that allows him the rest of the checklist. Why? Because we're an anav. You are recognizing you're nothing compared to something else. He's the closest. He is an anav. Therefore, he recognizes Hashem. He's the one who could really communicate with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one-to-one. Being an anav, you can daven for people. Being an anav, you can save the people. Being an anav, all these things you could do if you're an anav. So the Shiva Shalom is saying, Legabe Moshe, Moshe was a great anav, which makes him able to see Hashem. Yiras Hashem is smaller, but the rest generation actually were able to see Hashem. And when you see Hashem, Yiras Shamayim is easy. Yera, Yira, same letters, and also the same gematria, actually. And this is the lesson that Shiva Shalom is saying. It's not that only Moshe had Yiras Shamayim. No. If you are an anav, and you visualizing Hashem is there in front of you, that leads you to be Yiras Shamayim. So it's a small thing if you're like Moshe, not if you are Moshe, if you're Legabe Moshe, if you're like Moshe, being an anav and being able to visualize that you're nothing compared to Hashem and have Hashem in your life by every situation, then it's a small thing. You know, some of these people, they make fun of them on the plane, say what you want. They wear their clothes, they go to the Chol Moed, you see some of the Haredi people in the water, in the springs, with their clothes on. Make fun of all you want, but that's Yiras Shamayim. They believe Hashem is right there. And it doesn't matter if you're swimming or whatever on a plane, Yiras Shamayim is Yiras Shamayim. Hashem is there on the plane. And the Be'er Mayim Chaim, the Tzir Shon quotes Chaim of Chernovitz. I had to look it up because it's like a beautiful piece. We know Hashem's name, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. And there's Achila, Shtia, and Halicha. Eating, drinking. I take it back. Yeah, eating, drinking, Shina, and Halicha. Sleeping and going, walking. So all of them have two letters in common. Yud-Kei. Yud and a Hey. Achila, Hey. Shtia, Shina, Halicha. Yud Hey. The three others, you have mitzvah, avoda, kedusha, and Torah, all have a vav and a hey. Avoda has a vav and a hey. Mitzvah, vav and a hey at the end. Kedusha has a vav and a hey, and Torah has a vav and a hey. Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei are the four things that we do normally, eating, drinking, walking. And Vav-Kei are mitzvot and Torah things. And the Yud-Kei is before the Vav-Kei. And the Be'er Mayim Chaim, Rav Chaim of Chernovitz says, this is not a coincidence, that the Yud-Kei, the most important part, or the first part of Hashem's name, is in things that are not mitzvos per se. Because your ability to create Kedusha is especially by the things that are not Torah or mitzvos related. What the heck does that mean? Torah is Torah. You don't have to make the Torah kadosh. You don't have to make tzedakah a kadosh act. That's a mitzvah. Avoda, tefillah, that's kadosh. You know, we don't need you. Thank you. It's the other parts of your life where you couldn't actually create kedusha. How do you eat? Are you eating kedusha? Are you eating kosher? Are you making a bracha properly? Are you benching? Halicha. When you travel, are you helping people in the airport? Guy's lost. Are you letting a lady cut in front of you? Things like that. Regular life things, that's the place of kedusha. So the Shiva Shalom actually brings this down to say that's actually Yiras Shamayim. Yiras Shamayim isn't, I'm afraid of the punishment. Oh, I can't do this on Shabbos, it's Skila. Oh, I can't do this on Yontif, it's Karas or Yontif. I can't eat because of Karas. Don't think about the punishment, because we don't really know. We don't have the punishments now. There's no Misa, B'dei Adam. We don't know the Shamayim. We don't know the Karas is really, these days, what it does. There's no Malchus. Don't worry about the punishment. Just think about if Hashem was there. If Hashem is there, if what you're doing make you closer or further away from Hashem. Eating, going to a restaurant, nothing in the restaurant. But I keep saying papagayos all the time. I'm sure they're gonna sue me for libel or something. Go to papagayos and you're there for 2 hours, just picking out like a crazy person. It's kosher food. I benched, I washed, I made the bracha. I'm not stealing. I'm tipping. I'm doing a chesed. That's disgusting. Hashem doesn't like that. How do you know? Well, because Kaddish Atzchav Mutter. Making yourself holy are the things that are mutter things. Obviously, we're not going to eat treif, we're not going to eat basal chalav, but finding kedusha in the permitted things, knowing when to say no. That 10th piece of veal, too much. The 20th piece of roast beef, that's too much. Finding your spots where you're holding yourself back from going overboard, that's the kedusha. So eating, drinking, halicha, shena, all those things, you find the kedusha there. So that's why the Yiras Shamayim is not only Torah, davening Yiras Shamayim, Hashem is there, but tefillah, Hashem is there in your shul, Hashem is there when you do mitzvos, of course. But remember that real kedusha is created in the moments that are not mitzvah related, the optional things and the permitted things, and that's where we find kedusha. Shabbat shalom.